Hi everyone, with this video I can kill two birds with one stone. I've now learnt how to put these YouTube videos up on the lighting gallery, and it's a way of showing more of these lamps by actually talking, which I will admit I'm better at talking than typing. I absolutely hate typing. So with these I can do two lots. We'll go through these. As a lot of you know, I'm sorting out some of the lamps that are in the loft, and I'm realising or finding that there's stuff up there which I'd forgotten I even had. So here goes. I don't know if this video will be a success. I hope it will. Anyhow, we've got a selection of lamps in here. I shall pick out one or two. I won't be going through all of them. We'll be here to this time tomorrow if I do. Anyhow, let's start off anyhow with what we've got. Now, this would be well known to American viewers. It's a 7.5 watt small night light lamp. At one time, I don't know about now, but they were quite popular in America. I remember seeing one of these when I was a kid, and that was in the 1950s. I went over to visit my aunt and uncle, and this was the little lamp, or one like this, which was on the bedside table at night. So it was quite a popular. I think they make them also in coloured varieties. This one's clear glass. Don't know the name. It'll either be Westinghouse or GE, I would think. Now we are jumping about a bit here. Now this bulb, I know it's marked 8/60. Now it would have been used, as far as I know, for lighting of like a headlamp or something like that. A headlamp they use in telephone exchanges. There's no name on it, but it's possibly made by a company called SEAG, the miner's lamp company. They were up at Barnsley in Yorkshire, and they specialise in the small range of lamps. While we're talking about mines, coal mining, we have a lamp here which would have been used in the handheld lamps which the miners used to take down to the mines. These were battery powered by NiCad or nickel iron batteries, I think they were called. They were the forerunners of the NiCads. And as you can see, the filament is a straight wire in the form of a U. There's the shape. Typical mine lamp. And it says, it was actually made by Mazda England, and the voltage is 2.85 amp. Obviously the voltage was low because these nickel iron batteries, I believe, were 2 volt each cell. It might even be 2.2, but I think they were 2 volts. Several of those I've got, but I won't show all of them. I've also got mysteries. This little bulb I have no idea what it was used for. It's 6 volt, 10 watt. Look inside, it's got a blue glass with a filament going across, but it's either a reflector or a deflector. I don't know. Is it a vehicle lamp? It could be that. I've probably got more questions than answers. Anyhow, it's a nice little lamp. Doesn't say where it's made. Looking at it, I would say it could be Japan, but that is just a guess. Here we have a little reflector lamp. This is one of the American cap sizes. I'm trying to think what it's called. Ad medium, is it? I'm not sure. Someone will correct me on that one. The Americans tend to use more screw bases than we do in England. They use the candelabra thread, which I'll show you. The normal base Edison screw, which we all know, and this one, which is between the two. Now, getting back to the actual lamp, it's 120 volts by 25 watt. It's nicely made. You've got a horseshoe shaped wreath filament. Wreath is the name they use for the filament designs. Don't know what's going to come up next. Here we have, turn it round, a Mazda GE. Now Mazda, in England and France and Spain, Mazda was a manufacturer, but in America Mazda was the type of lamp, and you'd often find the Mazda name on lamps made by, in this case, GE or Westinghouse or Chicago Miniature. It was a type of lamp. Here we have a small lamp for a vehicle. 12 to 16, is that? Yeah, it's 12 to 16 volts. There's the filament design. I think these were about 16 watts. A normal small bayonet cap, centre contact, sometimes designated SCC, small centre contact. It's a goer. Now I believe this to be a Christmas decorating lamp, which are obviously from a string of lights which you'd put on a Christmas tree. The filament's at the top and it represents a candle. There is info on it, not a name, 14 volt, 7 watts. I don't know who it's made by. It may be made by German Osram. I know the Germans did have a light set like this. Unfortunately I haven't got the set, I've just got one bulb. And talking about Christmas tree lights, this would have been one that we used over here. These were on 20 volts, 3 watt and wide in series. Very small olive shape, is it? I suppose, yeah, you'd call it olive shape. Little MES Christmas bulb. I mentioned the candelabra thread. That's exactly what this is. It's a candelabra. It's slightly larger than the MES. A little bulb there. There is no info as to wattage or voltage. I would suggest it's probably 110. A bit of advice with these things we don't know the value of. Get yourself a Variac. They are worth their weight in gold. And if anything you've got doubts about, you can gently wind the voltage up, starting at 0 volts up to mains voltage 240. But this, I think you'd stop at 110. An American lamp. And one of those. See, we're sport for choice here. 24 volts, 4 watts. So this is quite a low voltage lamp, possibly used as an indicator. That base or cap is small Edison screw. So this lamp was probably used over here or in Europe. As I say, there's no name on it, so there's no clues. Looks quite a well made lamp. Another, oh, I think we've had this one before, or its mate. Yes, we have. We've had this one before. Another lamp used in the telephone exchange. 8A. These were designated lamps 8A, and then after them they would vary to the voltage. This one looks like 22 volts. FH, which stands for February 59. So that was manufactured in February 59, and that was manufactured for the General Post Office, which is now BT. Oh, I must have acquired that. It's also got number 74 on, which was probably a reissue number. Anyway, as I said before, in telephone exchanges, often these lamps had different applications. Some were coloured, they had different voltage ratings, and they were used with a normal bayonet cap, double pole, and used for such things as supervisory, alarms, headlamps, anything of that ilk. Now still little tiny bulbs. This is actually blown. This is a non-worker. I might have another one of those. I probably have actually, but this is a non-worker. It's not. It's blown. Made by Crystal Co. Crystal Co. was a company half owned by Philips and half owned by the English Osram. They were up at Bedford, Kempston. They made a whole range of lamps, and as you can see, this one is blown. But don't worry, we've got another one. I think that one's okay. Looking at the, I call these a zigzag filament. In these cases it's made zigzag so the length of the filament can fit into the glass envelope. But it's normally thought to be a rough service type filament. Anyhow, that one is in fact a worker. 200 to 260 volts. That's quite a widespread. 10 watt Criselco. I think Criselco are still going, but they don't make lamps anymore. I think they make fittings. Similar to that one we've just seen, we got one made by Philips. 110 volt, 120 volts, 10 watt. Philips one. Another little one. What's this? Stanley. Now Stanley is a Japanese company which specialised in lamps for, I think originally, the motorbikes. I remember when I was very young, I had a Honda 90, a little moped come motorbike, and the lamps that used were made by Stanley. I don't know who actually makes them, probably Stanley themselves, I just don't know. But it's 12 volts, 20 watt, and that would be a Japanese made lamp. Now also you had a blackening on the pinch, and that is thought to be to remove any last traces of air that was left in the lamp after evacuation. Little one that would have been this little lamp when it focuses would have come out of one of these night lights which are available over here. There's nothing, oh there is, it's just got 240, so it's obviously a 240. These were about 7 watts I believe, and they came out of night lights. They were either made with the MES base, which this one is, or the candelabra base. And you normally buy these in the shops sold as a pair of lamps, and they were for your night light, or because I've got a little light which when you move at night it comes alight. Another miner's type lamp. Made by Criselco again. It's got the information on it. This would be 4 volts. It looks like 1 amp. K71. That might refer to the manufacturing code. This would also, I believe, be a lamp used either in a miner's headlamp or their hand lamp that they carried down to the mines. Once again powered by these nickel ion batteries. I think they were called knife batteries, NIFE. I've got to be careful I'm not showing you something I've already shown. This is another tubular. ITT. That would possibly have been ITT Claude, a French company. With a typical zigzag type filament. Claude were quite a large company in France. Another zigzagged filament. unfortunately I've got no data on there at all. So as I say, to check these or to light them up, use a variac, start on a very low voltage. Looking at the filament arrangement, I would say it's either 110 or 240. It's a mains lamp, but whether it's a mains for this country or America. Little indicator bulb. Nearly in old motor vehicles, ones I remember, my first motor vehicle was a minivan of about 1964 vintage, and the tail lights would have possibly been this style of lamp. Not this voltage though, they were 12 volts. If I had a Volkswagen, that could have well been 6 volts. And our motor vehicle lamps were either 6 volts or 12. They soon used the 12 volts because 12 volts made better contacts, and they were less likely to not fail, but the voltage would get through better than if it was 12. And the company that made this was A-Light. As far as I know, they only made vehicle lamps. I don't know much about the firm. I think the factory was near Woking, but I may be wrong on that one. And that was a small centre contact, or a small bayonet cap, used in the motor industry. And while we're talking about it, we've got another example, double pole. This is where you have the two contacts at the base. This lamp, 6 volt, 3 watts, I think that is, 6 volt, 3 watts. I think it's a foreign one. Filament is intact, and this would have also been a vehicle bulb. Right, we've seen those. I think we've almost seen them all. I don't think I've showed this one before. 240 volt, 15 watt. Another little indicator lamp, or it could have been used in a microwave as an interior lighting. Some of these microwave lamps were quite unusual. They had to, in some cases, withstand a bit of heat and have a ragged, or rugged rather, filament. I think this one could have been for a microwave. I might have shown this style before, and I'm not sure. But as I say, I've virtually gone through the lot of little bulbs. To me, it's so much easier talking than typing. I don't get on with typing. I would like a device I can speak into, and it does the typing. That's what's that? That's 120. This is a similar lamp that would have been used for one of these night lights. Anyhow, I've exhausted this little collection that I've got, which I grabbed from upstairs. There's the ones we've looked at. Any questions, please ask. Hopefully this will be appearing also on Lighting Gallery Net. Now I know how to put them up from YouTube. They're going to be flooded with them. No, I'm only joking. You're only limited to so many entries a day, so I can't flood them, but it gives a chance to cover people that are just on YouTube or those that are on the lighting gallery. A lot of the people on lighting gallery also on YouTube, me being an example. Anyhow, thanks again, and anyone out there who's hoping to get a video on the plants, I did one yesterday, but just a little reminder for your diary. This Saturday at Banstead, we've got the MSG, the Mesem Study Group. It's got its show and plant sales, and they do a very nice food spread. So please come along. That's on this coming Saturday. Anyhow, once again, many thanks. Thank you, and I will clear down. I'm getting, my voice is wearing out at the moment. Rather than my fingers getting worn out by typing. Anyhow, thanks again. Thank you.